Good evening, everyone. And obviously, I'm in a different location, as you can see. Yes, I'm away currently in Bristol with a works conference. Christmas is over, back to work, as you say, and I'm on a 2-day conference in Bristol. So I'm in at the moment in a Premier Inn with a bit of a dodgy signal. So hopefully this lasts. But boy, oh boy, we have to do the extra time show because what a special, special day. What a start to 2022, to the new year for Wolves. I think it's the first Premier League game that we've actually won in the new year. And I was just talking to my mate, Manny, if you've watched the post-match reaction where I managed to grab him and the boys, as he said, we are 100% undefeated with a 100% record in 2022. We're going to get stuck into the game as usual. We're going to be talking about everyone's man of the match and performance ratings, talking about the performance aspirations. Does that change Wolves' aspirations for the year? Obviously, they've recalled some players back on loan, from loan, and obviously we've got the transfer window and speculation surrounding, especially the likes of Adama Traore, and also Matt Doherty's come into frame today as well. We'd like to get your views on that. Before I get my first guest on, let's just have a look who we've got. Let us know where you're watching from in the world, and always interesting. Hi to everyone, and don't forget to get involved in the conversation in the chat, and you can vote on your man of the match as well, and your performance rating too at the end. But we're going to have the pundits on first, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined one of my bestest buddies pre another international flight. Hello, Manny. How's it going,
mate? It's going brilliant. Absolutely buzzing. Still haven't got my voice back. It's still a bit croaky.
I'll tell you what, mate. I managed to watch the second half after the conference today.
Yeah,
on my phone, on the Sky app, and I quite enjoyed that. I've got to say, watching it back.
I think I watched the highlights a little bit. Just mesmerising, to be honest. I mean, I was speaking on the radio earlier, and I mentioned that there's a couple of iconic teams in English football, Liverpool and Manchester United. They've always been the iconic, the big boys, the world renowned. And we'd done Liverpool at Anfield, a few years back. But this is one team that we've never, in our lifetimes, in our going to football lifetimes, in majority of the fans, obviously some of the older fans will have remembered 1980. Believe it or not, I would have been 7 then. So, even though I look,
I know,
really
mate. 42 years almost 42. To the day. I messaged Mel Eves about it because we were talking about it after the game and before the game. And obviously, as you rightly said on the post-match reaction, mate, you said, like, we were only talking about it when he was on the podcast the other day. And I messaged him, and apparently he was going ballistic on WM. And as I think was we rightly said, Joe Moutinho, if you're going to pass it from one legend to another, what a guy to pass it to, Joe Moutinho. What finish!
A brilliant finish. But the thing is, it was more than the goal, more than the finish. We went to Old Trafford and had 15 attempts before half time. We completely and utterly battered them. And you were shaking your head thinking, oh, is it going to be one of those days again where we can't score and we're not going to hit the net? But you just had a belief that something's going to happen today, and they had a 5 or 10 minute spell when they changed it a little bit, and they came at us. But we went again, and we fully deserved the win. Any United fan or anyone watching neutral would have said the same. It was a complete and utter dominant performance in every area from start to finish. Tactically, the substitutes, everyone who came on, it was they had Rashford and Fernandes. These are world stars, aren't they? Greenwood, Sancho, Cavani, Ronaldo. It's like a who's who, and we didn't give it. We didn't give them. It is like a Hall of Famers, and we didn't give them a kick. Cavani he's a dangerous striker, man. He's so knowledgeable and he's got so experienced. Him and Ronaldo, just Cody, Seiss, and Kilman are just. I'm sort of
Absolutely
devastated.
magnificent. And we're going to miss
Devastated.
Saiss. We're
Man,
going to
I'm
miss him.
devastated, because our defense is like the best in the country. I know technically Man City have conceded one goal less, but I think ours is better. I think our defense is the best defense in the country. I don't care what anyone says. And after 20 games, and we're gonna miss.
Well, here's a stat for you, Manny. Carl Whitehouse has put up here.
15 shots. Yeah,
Wolves
most
had
ever.
15 shots.
Yeah,
The most on record since
Record, yeah.
2003-04 for a visiting team at Old Trafford in the first 45 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I was concerned before the game. I thought we always give everyone a game, but with a 2-week break, with the COVID situation, I was thinking, are they going to have the energy? Have they had enough time to work on the training ground?
Yeah.
But the energy, it was the most complete. We've been waiting for a complete performance for Wolves from first minute to the last for a long, long time. And it was the most complete performance. The energy levels in the first 15, 20 seconds, they were on the front foot. And I don't think United got out their half for about the first 4 minutes as well.
To be honest, we did that at home against them and we just lost the game. So that result taints our thoughts and we think, oh my God, how we've lost that. And we the front foot football just suits Wolves when we do it, and we decided to do it. And the big player for me was Daniel Pedence and Trinco. Trinco gets a lot of stick, but the two of them played in such a way they were neither forwards or midfielders, and Manchester United's back, or whatever they had at the back, they just couldn't cope with their positioning.
We were enjoying all the samosa triangles that were going on in the middle of the park, Manny.
Yeah, man, brilliant triangles everywhere. It was like short passing, coming short, but Pedence would then be ahead of Raul. He'd make the run, the dart behind, and he was sensational. And that little guy deserves a bit of a run because he's never really, I don't think, at Wolves since he's been there because of injury and changes in formation and other options we've had. He hasn't really had a real long run, and I hope he gets a run where he shows us what he can do. He went to Old Trafford and he ran circles around that United defence, and that set everything up. Moutinho and Neves, man, when they play like that, is there a better centre midfield duo in the league, man? Honestly, they were purring. Pundits were purring at them too because they were just controlled the theatre of dreams. They were the superstars. They were the superstars on stage.
How many times has Moutinho been written off, man? He hasn't got the legs. He hasn't got.
I'm sure something's happened there where growing younger is a thing. He actually now
Benjamin Button.
He grows younger. I think he was 35 last year. Now he's 34.
Benjamin Button, the Wolves team.
Honestly, he's 20 games. He's virtually played every single game. Hardly had a break, and he just looks so fresh, running. He's actually running into the penalty area, wasn't he? He was chasing a ball into the penalty area at one stage. He never did that.
I'll tell you what, he's a leader. He might not be the captain, but he's a born winner. Yeah. He's still got that youthful joy and energy to play. Apparently, he trains so well, almost like, they go on about Ronaldo, how he trains and keeps fit and everything. Yeah. And there was two players on there. The two most capped players for Portugal were on that pitch last night. Ronaldo and then João Moutinho is number 2 in their all-time caps. And it was Moutinho came out on top.
I mentioned to somebody before, I don't know who it was, I said, João Moutinho never, ever, touch wood, gets injured. Just doesn't get injured. He doesn't have knocks. He keeps him. If you watch the warm-ups, I know people don't really watch the warm-ups. They don't come in that early. But if you, especially at Molineux, go in a bit early and watch the intensity of each player, nobody matches João Moutinho, the way he runs around in the warm-up. And you think he should be protecting himself, should be maybe taking it easy, given his age, but he gives everything in the warm-up. There's nothing left behind. And there might be a bit of a mentality because Ronaldo's had that for years, and Ruben Neves as well. And we you know what, we're really blessed. We're really, really blessed to to have that caliber for everything that we say about Fosun, maybe tightening the purse strings or not spending, or we need. They've bought some of the greatest players ever, ever to where, it's not tempting fate. You know what, Rebecca? It's about living in the moment. We've waited 42 bloody years to beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. It's it's just, it's time to celebrate and enjoy the moment, and whatever life brings, we've got to enjoy our moments a bit more and not get a bit too down and out about what will happen. Will he go? Will he come? Players will always come and go. We've had Martino and Neves for a combined 9 years together. 9 years. I've been,
When you actually think of it like that, because when Neves come and we thought Martino was coming towards the end of his career, a lot of players of his age wouldn't be able to command the midfield like that he does, and he's going to have games where he's like every player that's going to be a little bit off it. But Neves, when he first come on, we'd have him in the chat maybe 2 years, and they keep saying, and he's still here. He's got a wolf tattoo across his body.
He has, and in his interviews, he never talks about anything but Wolves, about how he loves the town, he loves the city, he loves, his family is settled, his kids are born, everything, he loves everything about it. And somebody called David James keeps popping up saying Fosun out. I'm telling you right now, even the players yesterday, Jose Sarr, Fosun bought him. Daniel Podence, Fosun bought him. We had Fabio Silva. You know what? I want Fabio Silva this morning to take his mask off, because that wasn't Fabio Silva for 10 minutes. He came on, he held the ball up, he controlled the ball, he held off Varane, and Varane's like one of the world's greatest defenders, held him off.
And he drew 2 fouls in the corner as well, didn't he? Clever. Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, I was talking to a few fans before the game. We were talking about Fabio. And we were chatting and talking about the game where Raul was out. Then he started Wang, and then Wang got injured and he didn't come on. I was thinking, does he trust him? If he's not going to play him, he's got to go out for a loan. And then yesterday, in the biggest stage of all, really, he takes off Raul, which was a big call, and puts him on. And a minute later, before that goal, Fabio Silva got the ball. There was 3 players around him. He managed to control the ball late off for the pass to Adama, and we got the goal from that.
We did, and I think that's, he's a kid. Remember, he's a kid. Silva can change in 6 months a lot because he is so young. So he's like a sponge. He's taking a lot in. And even from not playing and having disappointments and not coming on, that's also a learning curve. And how large.
What do you make of this comment here from Dave? Dave, at some point when we get into the transfer windows, mate, if you want to come on and have your say in the right way,
I want David James. I want my club to get better into Europe. Of course I do. Am I happy with mediocrity? Mate, this is the first time we've beaten Man United in 42 years. We haven't done it before, so we should be celebrating and enjoying this moment. Of course,
it wasn't a mediocre performance last night. We outclassed Manchester United in their backyard.
All we're saying is, we want enough players to supplement.
100%.
When we get injuries, we would like a few positions where they're like for like. So in centre midfield, we know if Neves is injured, we can't really replace him. Up front, we saw when Raul was injured, we struggled to replace him. So we do need to strengthen in certain areas. Of course we do. No one's denying that, and we need those players in. But actually, those first 11 players, when we put 11 players on the pitch, as we've proved, we've conceded 2 really dodgy goals against the big 4, and we've competed in every game against anybody that we've played, and that's all you ask for your team. So that's not, if that's mediocre, then I don't think it is. I think it's actually, I think the back 5 have improved since last year. I think the goalkeeper has improved since last year. I think Nelson Semedo and Ait Nouri are better players than last year. I think Neves is better than last year. I think Coutinho is better than last year. I think Daniel Podence is better than last year. Okay, Traore maybe isn't. He's been struggling.
Raul not his best.
Raul maybe isn't, back to his best yet. But actually, we've made some real strides with our. Now all we're saying is we want Bruno backed and him given the tools to bring 2 or 3 players in to supplement in case we have injuries, and he knows that. He's been vocal about that. We want that, of course, we want that, but don't forget to celebrate what you have as well, because we have some real special players at our club.
I think it was quite what Bruno said about the board and the hierarchy, about we've got a plan, we know what we're doing, we're all together in it, and we're working on a plan to make it the team that you love and improve. I mean, it's difficult in the January window because no one wants to sell their best players, no matter whether you're going for a title, whether you're trying to stay in the division or you're in the cup or something like that. It's always difficult. January is, but we do have to do some business.
He's recalled every player, hasn't he? Everyone that's been on loan. Toti Gomez has come back today from Grasshoppers. You know, he's a very highly rated centre half. Even Morgan Gibbs-White's back at Compton today because he's injured at the moment. You know, so he's got Sanderson back, he's got Giles back. They may not be the answers, but until he gets somebody in and has the numbers in, he wants to have a look at them. But you know, Sue Jukes is 100% right. He has improved. Tony Roberts, you know, the goalkeeping coach who works on the set pieces. He works on defensively. He works on set pieces and offensively. Wolves are now in the end of the first week of January and still not conceded a set piece goal. Under Nuno last year, we looked like conceding a set piece goal on every bloody corner. So is that going backwards? That's actually a progression, a huge progression. And who took the decision to get rid of Nuno and bring Bruno in? Fosun did. So okay, yeah, you know, we can slag.
And at the time, it was a big call, but it seems like it was the right decision.
You know, they haven't got everything right. They probably have wasted money. But like I said, I go back to having people like Neves and Matinho and Semedo. Look at the way he's come. Aït-Nouri, what a deal that was. They got him in. They agreed 20 million. They decided not to exercise it and then got him for 10 or whatever it was. So they got him for half the price, you know. And now everybody's after him in the world of football because he's such a talented player. So they've actually made some. Look at Patricio. They got rid of him. We all worried. Oh no, what's going to happen? They only went and bought the signing of the season. All the pundits, Gary Neville, everybody saying he's the signing of the season.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he, mate? I mean, and the other thing as well, I mean, we played as well as we played, and they did have a couple of the Man United are going to have a couple, but we literally controlled the game, apart from probably that 5 or 10 minute spell just after Bruno Fernandes come up, and then right in the 5th minute of added time, they get that free kick 2 yards outside the box. You've got two of the best players in the world standing out, Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, and Jose Sarr stood tall and made the save. And the way that you said it was Cardiff. It was like the Cardiff game when they celebrated.
It was the last seconds of the match. It was the last kick, and it was almost like with those two on the ball on the edge of it's like a penalty for them. They're that good of hitting the target, and we kept it out. But I'll go back to even under Nuno when we beat City, when we beat we beat Liverpool in the cup, we beat Man United in the cup. We never actually really truly dominated one of the big clubs from start to finish, especially in their backyard. But we've just dominated one. We've took them apart really, and it should have. The scoreline was actually flattering on Man United that it was only 1-0. So that's progression. If that's not progression, then okay, maybe not. You know, let's everyone's entitled to their opinions, and you know that's what life's all about. So I'll respect what anyone else thinks, but I just look at each player individually, and I'll just ask the question: have you got better? Yes. And all I want the board, if I'm looking at someone like Jeff, and just say, mate, just give him those 2 or 3 players, just in case, you know, like Sice is away. We shouldn't really be trying to blood Sanderson, who's never ever played Premier League football. Really, you know, we should have somebody. So maybe, you know, Aït-Nouri plays wing back and Marcel goes into that position or something. But we should have somebody there, and I think
Marcel has played there, hasn't he? He has played in that position.
Look at Yerson Mosquera. He came in, and actually in pre-season he looked a beast. No one could get past him, and then he gets injured, so he could he could turn out to be an absolute incredible signing. What Neto and Johnny coming back, we've got exciting bits into our team. Don't worry about it, people. Don't get too downhearted. Actually enjoy the moment. Life will be over in a flash, believe it or not. So enjoy these days and celebrate some of the
Well
great
said,
players
mate.
playing for
And
us. Yeah.
just remind everyone before we move on, your man of the match and your performance rating and why.
Yeah, you know what? I give that complete and utter 10 out of 10 because, like for me, we've beaten big teams before, but actually we're dominating them on their own patch. You can't fault any player. I couldn't fault any of them. Some of them weren't as spectacular as others. But you see the pundits of what actually Raul did off the ball because he did a lot off the ball work that even Cavani and Ronaldo didn't. So while he's not scoring and while it's not quite coming off for him, he does occupy a lot of defenders and it allows them, Pedence and Trinco to do their bits. So, but my man of the match is going to be Daniel Pedence because that front football attacking them, he led that in the first half. Every time the ball went to him, he was very tricky. He got a few shots.
He managed to turn and find space as well. He's. You watch some of the. I mean, I watched the second half again today, and I watched some of the highlights. But the way he creates space for himself, and he's also got that knack of delivering that ball where you think he's going to go on the outside. He cuts in and he hits that in swing, and it's so hard to defend. And he's done that a few times, and we nearly got a couple of goals from that as well.
He's got an assist in him all the time. He does find players with his crosses, which is really, really important. So like I said, people can have their opinions, and I'm reading a few comments. Don't have a go at anybody for having an opinion different from you. Just move on. That's just life. That's why we love football.
That's what football's all about, isn't it, Manny? And we don't. I mean, I'm really happy for people and the guys in the comments to have a conversation, and David can have his opinion.
Yeah, can have his say,
We
not a
welcome
problem.
that just in the right way. That's
I can see the frustrations when people, because the last window they tried to buy players, they didn't get them in. Now that it's come out, maybe they have to sell to buy. Who will we sell? But then I think there's a lot of positives as well. There's not just negatives. Yes, we need those players. I've said that myself, but I want to celebrate this moment. I want to celebrate us taking apart Manchester United. At Old Trafford. Man, we should be happy about that.
And what a start to the year. Manny, thank you so much. I know that you're going to be on your travels again on Friday, so we might not see you unless I can get you on a Wi-Fi connection here. What the time difference is, but we may or may not see you on extra time. But when we get back, we'll have that game of tennis as well.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be back soon. But thank you to all the comments. Thank you for supporting, and just be a little bit positive. It's not about happy clapping, But let's be honest, if you ain't going to happy clap after beating United away, when are you going to happy clap?
Exactly. Thanks ever so much, buddy, and stay safe.
Cheers. Thank you.
And congratulations to your ma and pa. I think it's their wedding anniversary.
Yeah, 52 years, not out. Doing really well. So I'll see them in a couple of days.
Congratulations. Make sure you pass on our best wishes, mate.
We will. Cheers. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers, buddy. That's Manny, absolutely brilliant. And if you've not seen the instant fan reaction, I managed to meet up with Manny just outside of Old Trafford within about 10 minutes of the game finishing. And we got together with his boys. We did our instant fan reaction. Make sure you check that out on the channel along with the match vlog. And I know a few of you said, please smash a like on the video. I'd appreciate if you did that. It lets YouTube know that you enjoy this show. Next on, I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing what this young man has to say. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Dave. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year. And what a happy New Year it is, Paul.
Yeah, incredible, wasn't it? I've been on a high all day from watching that last night. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, man. I'll tell you. Were you there? Were you able to go?
Wasn't able to go last night.
You don't miss many.
I gave my ticket away, but I'm doing Brentford, West Ham, Tottenham. I think those are the next 3, aren't they, away from home?
Well, I'm hoping I get a ticket for Brentford. I'm a bit worried about that because I think you a gold or a silver.
Gold, yeah, I got mine today. My tickets. So,
and there's only 1,600 tickets, and I class myself as bronze because I'm not gold or silver. I have got a lot of points, but there's a ballot, so I hope I get a ticket for Brentford because I really want to go. But I'll just the only game I've missed so far is Brighton, which was difficult for a lot of people to get to Brighton. Yeah. But you still managed. Obviously, you must have still obviously watched the game and probably couldn't believe what you were seeing.
I watched it with my girls, and they loved it because it was just such. Despite the low scoreline, 1-0, it was really exciting match in both halves for different reasons. So, yeah, we were on the edge of our seats, and to be honest, in the first 15 minutes or so, I couldn't really believe what I was watching because I've seen us at Norwich a few weeks back.
Well, yeah.
I've seen us in some other recent. Yeah, that's another great example. And those performances were a million miles from what I saw, especially in the first 15 minutes. And it's hard to put your finger on it, isn't it, really? Because the players
were you a little bit
different.
like me, thinking, bitten 2-week break, what we're going to, with all the COVID, are they going to have the energy and the thing, could we get taken apart? Because I said to a couple of the fans, because I was having a good chat with a few fans in the stand before, and my view was, we're either going to get battered or we're going to win this game. It was like that was just it just depended. And within the first minute, the way we started the game set. I listened to a lot of Talk Sport on the way here today, and they were talking about the game, and they were just talking about how Wolves started, and they were talking about some of the pundits were saying that Man United, they're at home, and one of their players had talked about that they never started the game on the front foot. They let Wolves, they were quite passive, and Wolves just took control of the game and kind of like put them on the back foot straight away, and they never really recovered, other than maybe that period just after Bruno Fernando came on, and like when he hit the bar, and I was thinking, because you know, as a Wolves fan, we dominate a game and then they have bang, wash, score. When he hit the bar, and then there was a disallowed goal just after, because Wolves' defense were very, very, very good, because they could have easily got sucked in with Ronaldo standing in front of them, and they held their line and he was offside. When that passed, and then we sort of again took control of the game, it was just like just maybe it's going to happen this time, and it did. When Moutinho, I bet you when Moutinho hit the back of the net, you were off the chair, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think next door heard me as well through the wall. But yeah, I mean, I knew that you probably would ask tonight about like what was different last night compared to those other away matches. And one thing that I keep coming back to is intent. And when you do a freeze frame on when Traore crosses it in for the goal,
yeah,
obviously he's in the picture and Semedo's not far behind him, but there's 5 other players in and around the box. And to me, that's something that we've lacked a little bit, especially away from home. Simply having more players prepared to commit and say, if it breaks on the edge, I'm there to keep the pressure on, or maybe I'll get in the box and try and get on the end of a cross. And I think that was one of the main reasons we just committed probably a few more people further forward more often. And Man United couldn't get out, could they, against us in the first half?
No, and if you looked at the wing backs as well, Semedo and Marcel busting a gut to create the overlap.
Yes, that was the real. I think Bruno highlighted that, didn't he, in his post-match comments? The space was on the outside, and Semedo and Marcel both exploited it very well. So fair play to him for getting his tactics spot on. He's obviously had a couple of weeks to think about how he'd approach this match. And because they play that very narrow formation, it made perfect sense.
I've never known anyone else play that. Crazy formation.
I think Watford do a version of it, or did.
They matched us up second half, though, didn't they, Paul?
They had to, a bit like Everton at home. Remember when they bought Delphon, didn't they, at half-time? And they changed their formation because they had to change to cope with us, which is a real positive sign, you know.
Oh, what a compliment!
Teams are having to. It's a massive compliment, yeah. So he got his tactics spot on,
I thought he made all the changes at the right time as well, and I thought he made the right decision taking Raul off when he did. He was done, and he brought on Fabio to give that little bit of extra youthful energy, and he did a good job when he come on, Fabio.
He played a part in the goal and the build-up, and he was also very intelligent about how he used the ball in the last 10 minutes. For a 19-year-old lad, he showed a great deal of experience using his body to protect the ball in the corner and draw fouls. So it's what you'd expect from a 30-year-old striker, not necessarily a 19-year-old striker. So hopefully he'll get a run out against Sheffield on Sunday. I know that he's struggling with COVID,
I mean, I think we all know that Ruddy is probably a shoe-in for keeper. Will he trial? I think he'll keep the defence pretty much similar. Will he trial Sanderson or Marcel? I mean, it'd be a good practice game. I'm hoping. I mean, we go strong because I want to run in the FA Cup. I think it's an opportunity for us. I think a team like Wolves can win the FA Cup. I've only been annoyed with Nuno twice. Once was and they were both FA Cup. The semi-final 2-0 up, and he went too defensive and could have gave up. Took our creative players off when we could have kept more control of the game. And then when we surrendered, basically, played a very weak team against Southampton last season. And as Wolves fans, we're crying out to go to a cup final. That would be magical, and it's an opportunity for someone like Wolves. We've got a home tie against Sheffield United. It won't be easy, but you get through that. You maybe get another home draw or whoever. We can beat anyone on our day, but I hope we go a long way in the FA Cup because we're not going down. We've got a chance of Europe, but we could go a long way in this FA Cup this year because we haven't got that relegation pressure to worry about.
Exactly. And from Sheffield's point of view as well, they're not in the playoffs, but I think they're only about 4 or 5 points behind 6th place.
Yeah.
So to me, that might say, Sheffield United probably aren't going to win the FA Cup this season, but they could sneak into the playoffs because they've changed the manager. They could go on a run. So do they wave the white flag at this game before it's even kicked off? Do they think, we're not going to win the FA Cup probably?
Well, they're not going to have Morgan, are they?
He's injured anyway.
Yeah, apparently he's come back to Wolves to Compton because he's injured. Well, I mean, no. I know they've bought Royal Giles back from loan. They've got a guy from Grasshoppers coming. They bought Sanderson. What are your takes before we get back to the game on the obviously situation with Saiss going? Who would you play in the Premier League as that left-sided? Do you think he'll stick with the back three, or do you think he'll go to a back four? I would imagine he'll stay, but who would you play there? And
I think
how are you feeling about the transfer window coming up? Because obviously it's come up. People want Fosun. I think we all think it's an opportunity for Fosun to strengthen, and we could really push on.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all he has to keep the back three. It's been working really well for us, so we need to have as minimal disruption as possible. And I think the way that you get that is probably by slotting Marcel in on the left. And we know that Aït-Nouri's been doing a brilliant job over the last few weeks. So he comes in at left wing back. I think that's what happens against Southampton. As for the FA Cup match, I don't know how experimental it'll be. Maybe he should try that in that match. So I don't expect big changes in terms of the shape. And for me, it's Marcel in and Aït-Nouri to left wing back. And on Saiss quickly, what a player he's been over the last few months for us. I genuinely think he's probably one of the most underrated players in the whole of the Premier League because he's now so consistent. He's a goal threat in the opposition box.
He pops up with goals, yeah. He nearly scored again. It was a great free kick, just a little bit high.
And he's added a great deal of composure now to his game. He's not so
He was
rash
always like shooting
anymore.
for a booking, wasn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember a penalty he gave away against Man City at the start of last season, which kind of summed him up a bit at the time, really. He was really prone to that kind of mistake. And now, touch wood, he's not. And I know there's a lot to be said for having young players, but there's also a lot to be said for experience in your team. And people like him Matinho, Cody. You need experience in your team. So, and he's captain of his country, I believe, isn't he?
He is. So he's Andy Saunders has got a question because it's come up on the radar today, hasn't it? That there's been, again, there's going to be lots of these things about Matt Doherty coming back to Wolves. Some say Wolves have bidded for him. Some people are saying it's part of a swap deal with money with Traore. What's your thoughts on that?
My first thought is I haven't hardly given any thought to it because I think it's a non-starter. I just don't think it's something that would happen. I don't think it's a priority area for us, and I would be really, really surprised if it did happen. And I actually think that wing back now is one of our strongest positions because on the right, Semedo's been vastly improved this season.
He has.
Hoover's shown he can come in and do a good job. And also into that mix now, soon we'll be saying Johnny because he can play right side or left side. So wing back, I wouldn't bother with it. We all know that there's other areas of the pitch that need to be strengthened as a greater priority than right wing back. So I haven't really thought about it much because I just think it's a non-starter.
And any more thoughts on Traore now we're into January? I thought obviously he didn't get a direct assist yesterday, but he did cross the ball that was headed out by Phil Jones for Matinho to finish off.
Yeah, I'd love him to sign a new contract because I just think he gives us something different and he'd give any team in the Premier League something different. But we saw him last night at his best, out wide, one-on-one with the fullback, beat him, get the cross in. I don't think Bruno really wants him to do that. He wants him to play inside. He wants him to play it into feet and not necessarily go on the outside and get a cross in. But if I was his manager, I would just keep it so simple for him. Stay out wide, get the ball to him because we can with players like Neves, beat your man and get it into the box. And it's that simple.
I think that makes a good point. I think we'll have to wait and watch and see how that pans out, to be fair, doesn't it, won't we, mate? And on your man of the match and your performance rating, Paul?
Such a tough decision. I know Manny spoke really
it
well.
Is, mate, I've got to ask you. Let's
I'd
go with the
rather be
performance
spoiled for
rating
choice.
first. Let's do that one first.
I'll
Get
give
that
it a
out.
9.
A nine. Are you
9.
like Craig Webber-Hallwood or something? You know, I've got to hardly ever give a 10. Why are you not giving that a 10?
I think a
we
second
didn't score
goal.
more goals.
I think if we'd have got a second goal, I'd given it a 10. But I mean, 9 out of 10. I've never said that before. So
you can do 9.5.
I'll stick with 9.
Oh, 9. So it's a 9. That's the highest score we've had off Paul. So that's good.
Yeah.
I gave it a 10 on my match reaction, and
I saw that.
The first time I've ever given it a 10. I just thought, sod it, I'm giving it a 10. we controlled the game at Old Trafford. We outclassed them. We scored. We won the match. The fans went ballistic. Almost a perfect away. Well, it was a perfect away day. So anyway, 9 out of 10. Now, the tricky one. Who are you going with?
It's a 3-way problem for me. I mean, Manny made a really good case for Podence, and he had 6 goal attempts, which is fantastic. You know, from a wide forward. Obviously, Matinho, not just his goal, but he was outstanding all match. Controlled the midfield, but I think for me, Neves clinches it. I read a stat about him from the game last night, and I think 2/3 of his passes were made in the opposition half, and that for me is a big reason why we won the match because he, along with Matinho, dominated that midfield, and I thought he was so positive on the ball. He played a big role in the goal.
I tell you what, Paul, he nearly replicated his Derby goal as well, didn't he?
I was just saying that, yeah, he's inches away from another outstanding goal. And I'm not saying if he wasn't playing, we wouldn't have won last night, but he's a massive reason why we did win.
Well, I think that's a good well. So there you are, guys. Don't forget, you get your chance to vote at the end. So far, we've got 1 vote for Daniel Podence And now we've got a vote for Ruben Neves. Jazz and West Ham fan, I just want to say thank you to the Wolves team for helping us with that title charge. Keep beating the big teams, please. Well, we'll try, and we'll take Adama. Thanks very much. Fair enough. 40 million, and you can have him. Mate, just to finish off on a happy new year to you and the family. I take it you're going to the game on Sunday.
Yeah, I've got tickets for both the kids, so we're going to that one, and I've got them both a ticket for Southampton as well, so I'll be there for that.
Absolutely. Thanks again for joining us today, Paul. Much appreciated.
Pleasure. Lovely to speak to you, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Paul. Take care, and we'll hopefully see you on the next one.
Yep, look forward to it.
Brilliant. So that's Paul. Hello? Right, I think we might be back. So, guys, so sorry about that. The internet went, and I'm now connected up to my phone. Can you hear me okay, Paul? No, we've lost Paul. Hey, this is entertaining. Live television or live YouTube. We've lost Paul. I got back and Paul's been lost. So we're going to have Max over in Australia.
Hello, Dave. How you going?
This is that was the halftime interlude. Paul's now back, but he's lost his spot, so he'll have to wait till after this. Max, guys, I'm really sorry. If I do go, I will endeavour to just hold with me just a second, will you? Whilst I'll get something. This is live as we go. I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose connection again and charge my phone up as we go. So, Max, whilst I'm doing this, talk us through what time of the day you watched the game.
It was 4:30 in the morning.
Mate, that is what you call commitment. 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was.
And how did you? What happened? Did you wake your mum and dad up when you were?
Normally don't. Normally don't. They normally don't hear my alarm, so yeah, I'm normally quiet when I watch the game, which is good.
Fantastic, mate. I think I'm almost organised now. I've just got my phone. Hopefully.
And by the way, I've got my Wolves shirt on, Dave. You told me to bring it on for the show. There you go.
You've got the black away top.
Yeah, I'm loving wearing it. It's a very nice to wear. Very nice top.
So anyway, I'm really apologise for everyone for the loss of signal. As I say, I'm over in Bristol at a Premier Inn, and Chaotic Ranger says Dave's in a Premier Inn and Matt's in Australia, got a better connection than Dave. You're not wrong about that, mate. I tell you, it just went for a second there. Carl says, "Good day, mate. Commitment to the cause." But we're back up and running. And that's it. I'm connected to my phone now rather than the Wi-Fi, so we'll see how we go. Max, talk me through how you felt about that match from start to finish.
Yeah, it was an amazing match to watch, Dave, for us. I mean, probably the best of the whole season. I mean, just from the start, those first 10, 15 minutes, as you said, we were just unbelievable. Like, we were just all over Man United, and we were just, on the front foot the whole time. I just couldn't believe it, Dave. It was unbelievable to watch.
Does it make you proud to be a Wolves fan?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, to see where we are, see how we're going now, and to be the second best defence in the league in terms of goals conceded is just unbelievable, Dave. It's
And
great.
I bet you know a few United Australians, don't you?
Yeah, they would have definitely not been happy with they boasted about it on my Instagram about the win.
Absolutely, mate. Well, you can wear your yeah. I mean, are you out of lockdown over there now? Are you?
Yeah, we are, but the cases are rising over here because of the Omicron. But I think we're going to be okay for now. Next couple of weeks, I think we're right.
That's fantastic, mate. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you did. And who was your what was your sort of levels in terms of like what you're thinking about with the transfer window? What would you like to see happen?
I don't know, to be honest. I think I don't know about. I'm trying to think. I think it's good that we bring back some of our loan players. I think that could definitely help the squad a bit for now. But in terms of transfers, I don't really know, to be honest. But with Traore, I'm trying to think if we should keep him or not. But I'm a bit stuck on him.
The thing with Traore, Max. I mean, I love Traore. I like the fact he's one of the players who can get you off your seat when he gets the ball and he's running and exciting. And obviously his end products has always been the issue in his decision making, but he is exciting. And we keep saying over and over how many times it can go. But he did create havoc yesterday when he came on, and he did provide the cross. He didn't get a direct assist, but he scored it. But the other thing is, he's now only got 18 months left on his contract. So if Wolves leave, his value, because his contract's running out, is dropping. His value is dropping. And, I'm not sure when it is, whether it's 6 months out or 12 months out. Carl Whitehouse will probably know the stats on this. He can pop up and tell me. But comes to a point where they can start negotiating pre-contracts, and we could end up losing him for nothing.
Yeah, so, I've heard about that a lot.
If he's not signing his new contract, which I don't know why it's what the thing. Someone said it's to do with a release clause or something that they can't agree. I heard, but like if he's not signing this new contract, which would put him on a 3 or 4 year deal, which would obviously protect Wolves' his value as an asset. At some point, Wolves are going to have to think we need to cash in, because we could end up losing someone we paid 18 million for that's worth X amount. So if someone comes in now with 25, 30 million, they might cash in on him because his value is only going to drop if he doesn't sign that new contract. Maybe he'll sign the new contract, but I don't know. I think that's the key. I'll be interested to do a bit of a vox pop in the chat. All you need to put is keep or sell for Adama in the chat. Let's have a bit of a vox pop on what you think. Would you sell, if you could get 25, 30 million for Adama, would you sell him, or would you say keep? Your performance rating, Max?
I gave it probably, it's between a 9 and 9.5 for me.
Are you going 9.2 or 9.25 then?
I'll probably give it a better. I'll stay with a 9. I think I agree with Paul, not a second goal. But, it's unbelievable performance. Definitely deserves a 9. I know you said 10, but it was just unbelievable, Dave. As I said, I think a 9 definitely deserved. The defense we had, the way we just went through United, it was crazy.
Well, that's interesting. Loads of people are saying keep. Merv's just made me laugh because he's just a funny guy. Keep, sell for £30 plus free Premier Inn breakfast. Well, I have got one of them in the morning. It means 30 million. I was going to say that would be hilarious. And your man of the match, who are you going to go for, Max?
I'm going to go with João Moutinho. I just have to go for him. He was a difference maker in the end. He just, in the midfield, obviously with Neves, they were just able to get the ball through, and it was just the biggest difference maker in the end.
Absolutely, Matt. Well, absolutely. So now, guys, we've got 1 vote for Podence, we've got 1 vote for Neves, and we've got 1 vote for Joey Matinho, so that start thinking about when we get to the Vox Pop at the end, and the producer will have to, I know she'll be watching Emma back home, will have to text me, WhatsApp me the result when we start getting the votes in at the end. Hopefully the connection will stay till then. Max, any final, how did you see in the new year, Max?
Oh, yeah, I just spent it with family, and we couldn't see the fireworks that well. I don't think they were that good this year, but yeah, just spent it with the family, which is really nice.
Mate, you know why you couldn't see the fireworks?
Why?
Because you had to wait 3 days for the fireworks at Old Trafford for the mighty
Yeah,
Wolves.
of course. Now I don't miss those fireworks. The fireworks came for the Wolves game. Absolutely, what a start!
Absolutely brilliant. And Max will also be on the international fan reaction, which will be out tomorrow night sometime. So thanks for sending that in as well, Max. Appreciate it.
All good.
And well done on getting up at 4:30 in the morning and watching for that is commitment. But you are young, so your recovery time is still pretty good, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
All the best, Max.
Yeah, all the best, Dave. Thank you ever for watching the chat. Always Wolves. See you
Always
guys
Wolves,
next week.
mate.
See ya.
That's Max all the way in Australia, as was quite pointedly out. He's got a better internet connection than me today. And now, hopefully, we'll have back Paul. Last time you were on, you cut the power.
No, you cut the power, mate, or something happened. I don't know what happened.
Now you're over there in the Bahamas, aren't you, mate?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Dave. Happy New Year to everyone, by the way, yourself and everyone.
See, this is what we do over here. We go from Wolverhampton to Australia to the Bahamas to Bristol. And you've probably got better internet connection than me. So talk me through where you watched the game and how you and what was happening when we scored that goal.
So yeah, I watched the match at home with I've got my best mate here is a Man United fan.
Oh, so, did you watch it with him?
Yes, so I invited him round. I was actually very confident that we were going to at least. Well, I knew we weren't going to lose. I've been watching United of late, and really they're terrible, to be honest. That's not taking away anything from our performance, but I was very confident that we would get something from the game.
And we did?
Yeah, we did. We were absolutely brilliant. I know a lot of the previous speakers have spoken about the team performance and the players, and rightly so. They were fantastic. But I want to wax lyrical a little bit about Bruno Lage, because when myself, like everyone else, when Nuno left, absolutely heartbroken. And just like when Arsenal appointed Arsene Wenger, there was the sort of questions, Arsene who? And obviously for Wolves fans, it was Bruno who. But I tell you what, the match last night for me actually was a watershed moment for him, because I think most of the fans now have accepted that we've actually got a really good, arguably upgrade on Nuno. I listened to this guy in his pre-match interviews, and he gets questions asked about the teams that he's going to play. And sometimes I actually have to say to myself, Bruno, don't say anything, because his breakdown in terms of how he's going to approach these teams is absolutely spot on. You heard it last night. In his post-match about how he beat United. His tactical breakdown was absolutely brilliant, and it worked to a T in the game. I think I read somewhere where, in preparation for this match, he had the defence looking at their performance against Crystal Palace and Norwich, and we played those teams a couple of weeks ago. When he first joined the club, he asked that a room be built where the team actually got in, and there was a TV screen where they would review and analyse every game. This guy is a brilliant tactician. I don't know if anyone else knew, or everyone else knew, but he was actually touted by Arsenal as a possible manager before they appointed Arteta.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, he was. So they obviously took into account what he'd done at Benfica. And I'd go as far to say that this guy is going to go all the way to the top.
And hopefully take Wolves all the way to the top.
Definitely. I read his history in terms of his playing career, how he joined up with Carvajal.
Cavallio at Swansea and Sheffield Wednesday.
And everything. He's got a
coached a lot of youth football, got his chance, was thrown into the Lions' Den at Benfica and only lost one of the next 18, only dropped 2 points out the next 18 games to win the league and scored 100 goals. You can see in some of the play yesterday and earlier games this season how attacking we can be and why Benfica, I know probably the Portuguese league on the whole isn't as strong. They've still got some good teams in there. Sporting Lisbon, Braga's a good side. You've got Benfica, you've got Porto, but maybe not the strength in depth of the Premier League. But to score 100 goals in any division, but like obviously he had some good players there. If we can start putting the ball in the back of net, I mean, I don't know whether you agree with this. If we'd have won 2, 3, or 4 yesterday, I don't really think anyone could have complained.
My Man United fan buddy was here, and he said that we should have been 4-0 up. If it wasn't for the saves that De Gea made, a couple of great saves that De Gea, we played them off the park. I mean, from the first minute, we were on it, and you know, he's like I said, he's an upgrade on Nuno.
He's been. I've got to say.
Manny said it. He said it in his interview with you earlier. When you come in and you have the same players that you had last season, he really, I think just Sarr is the only kind of new player that he's added.
Yeah.
I know Mascara's come as well, but he hasn't really played yet.
He's been injured, yeah.
He has improved virtually every one of them.
I think you're right. I mean, we've improved across the board. I think there's probably only really Raul and Traore that are not really reaching, like yesterday, the potential on a. But Raul's obviously been long-term injured. He's still added a lot to the game yesterday, but it was just a fantastic performance. And from your point of view, you must have been off the sofa.
I did.
What time was it there? You were watching it?
It was 12:30 here. We're 5 hours behind you. So
that was nice for you.
So it was like a brunch with me and my mate. So he was slumped in the city, and I was like just jumping. I have a fan above the ceiling. See the fan? My head nearly hit the fan.
That would not have been good, mate.
I know.
It's in the fan.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, I knew the goal was coming. I just knew it was coming. I wasn't even worried. I'm not saying it after the fact. I wasn't even worried when that last minute free kick, because Jose Sarr has just been in phenomenal form. Best shot stopper in the Premier League right now.
Everyone's goalkeeper in the fantasy football, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And what are you going to give it as a performance rating?
Because we didn't score more goals, 9.5.
9.5, still pretty high though.
Yeah, 9.5. Impressive performance from start to finish. Man United changed their system in the second half, still couldn't live with us. And so because of that, my man of the match, I'm agreeing with my namesake Paul on this one. Podence had a fantastic game. He had the United defence in a tizzy. I mean, isn't it something where they have a defender who hasn't played for 2 years and he gets man of the match? Phil Jones. But the kingpin of our midfield, Ruben Neves.
So you're going with Neves? Tell me why.
He was everywhere. His passing, his pressing, his vision. I mean, I'm trying to find another word. He's the best slicer, intentional slicer, in terms of how he slices the ball from, like, pings it from mid to the right. There's no one better in the league at that. Pinpoint crossing. I just wish that volley had gone in, because that would have been just sensational. But yeah, he definitely gets my man of the match. And he is, his stats, as Paul said, was absolutely brilliant.
And I'll tell you what, it's a good point from Jack here. Epic win. Shocked by this team and how they graft and grind for the 90 minutes. I'm not used to it. squad having so much effort, work rate, and passion. I think the one thing that you can see within the Wolves squad, even when things are not going well, is they have a big team spirit. I mean, the way they celebrated at the end was because they know they'd put in the shift, and we all saw the heartbreak against Liverpool when they'd given absolutely everything, and they were all, you know, crestfallen at the end. And then the way we didn't get the rub of the green against Man City, the injustice against United earlier in the season when we again dominated the game, and you know, was it going to be another one of them? And then right at the end, they have that free kick, and Jose Sarr is equal to it, and the way they celebrated as a team, you know, to hold on and fight, and you know, hopefully maybe Wolves should have been 2 or 3 goals clear at the time, but they weren't, and they had that free kick, and you've got Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, 2 world-class free kick takers, and Sarr read it and he saved it.
And like I said, I was really confident in that Sarr would save it. He had the wall well organised, and he was ready for it. I think at the very beginning of the game, when you saw the players in the tunnel, you just knew. You looked at them, and they were pumped up. You could see it. They were pumped up. They knew that if they played well, and I actually think that the 2-week break, as it were, really helped. And I knew that if the team were at full strength as such, we would get a result. I was really confident about this. I wouldn't have invited my mates around otherwise. I was really confident about this game. And
confidence was there, and and you were rightly proved, mate. Because I was quietly confident. I was, like I said before the game, I was wondering how we'd come out that 2-week break, and we come out really, really, really well. And we've got like Rocco's here over in Montreal. Welcome to the channel, mate. Hope you stick around with us. It's great to see you over there in Canada. You're talking to Paul over in the Bahamas and me over in Bristol at the moment. It's great to see people from all over the world that love and support our team. Final thoughts from you, Paul?
Yeah.
On the rest of the season and the transfer window.
Great start to the season. As for the transfer window, I think the biggest transfer or biggest activity would probably be if Bruno has targeted a player that he wants to buy. Obviously, we have to be self-sufficient as a club. If they get the right money for Traore, I think that's the only scenario in which he'll go.
It needs to be the right money. We'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. Yeah. Paul, absolute pleasure having you on. Hopefully we'll see you on the international fan reaction soon, because you're slacking.
It's a time difference that doesn't help sometimes, but I'll do much better this year.
International fan normally goes out a couple of days after the thing, so even if you can't do straight away, you can always get over. Mate, good to see you rocking, just like your counterpart in Australia.
I got this for Christmas, so yeah.
Yeah, I think Max got you.
I wore it yesterday, so yeah, he did the trick. It's got Traore on the back, so
we can't sell him then, can we?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, mate.
Dave. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you all. Take care.
Brilliant. Bye-bye. That's Paul over in the Bahamas. We've got Jack, who's coming on last today. Thank you, Jack, for waiting patiently. Appreciate it. But next up, we've got Scott. Scott, where are you? Anywhere exotic, mate?
Not right now. I'm at home.
Where's home for you again?
Wolves. Yeah, Bushbury, Wolverhampton.
Bushbury Hill. Are you wearing your Bushbury Hill top, mate?
I am indeed.
All the green up the bush, as you say.
Cheers.
Mate, you would have watched the game yesterday. I think were you there, or were you watching it on the box?
I was in a pub in Rochdale watching it with a load of United fans.
No way. Tell us more about that, Scott. This is a good story. First of all, what were you doing in Rochdale? And secondly, I'm not surprised that there were a load of United fans, because they ain't from Manchester, a lot of them, are they?
No, basically I travelled up to Rochdale to go and visit family, because I've got a lot of family that live in Rochdale, and all that family are Man United fans. And there was a bit of banter before we even got to the pub, but we got to the pub and it was just a sea of red. Lot of Man United fans wearing
Did
kits.
you have your Wolves top on?
No, lucky enough.
You should have.
Yeah, but the best thing about it was that watching it there, I tried to control my emotions, but we were all over them. So it was hard. It was hard to control the emotions, and when we scored, I just plus when you've had a bit of beer in you too, you literally just exploded, and I had all these Man United fans giving me evil looks as I was jumping up and down celebrating, and I was getting. Yeah, but I was celebrating it. Funny enough, I was celebrating the goal with a Man City fan and a Blackburn Rovers fan, so it was all good.
Well, obviously they're going to be absolutely over the moon, wasn't they? They'd be rooting for Wolves with you. I mean, just tell us talk us through the game from being in the pub with a pub full of United fans. Like from, I guess, at the start they were really confident. I'm guessing.
To be honest, no. When I spoke to, because we had like where we were sitting, there was a big guy in the corner who's a massive Man United fan. You could tell he was, and there was others sitting around. But I was talking to him the most, and he says he wasn't confident. He said when they play Wolves, they're always unsure and stuff like that. But then when I told him we hadn't won there for those as many years as we had, he was shocked by that. Mm-hmm. And then I said to him, because my feeling going into that game was I was confident that we wasn't going to concede, but at the same time I wasn't confident we was going to score. So for me, I thought it was going to be 0-0. So
and for a long period, it looked like you might be right.
Well, you look at that save from De Gea by Neves. You just had a feeling it was going to be that type of game with the amount of possession we had, chances we had, and then De Gea pulls off a save like that. You're thinking that this is not going to be our day. But then when Moutinho scored, whoa, yeah, just the feeling was unreal. That guy loves Old Trafford, doesn't he?
Mate, let's just all of us pretend that we're in the pub, sitting next to Scott in Rochdale, and all around us there's a sea of red United fans. Fabio Silva's just come on the pitch. He's got 3 United players around him. He manages to keep control of the ball. He knocks it out. I don't know whether it was to Moutinho or Neves.
I think it was Neves, wasn't it?
Who then knocks the ball down the wing. You've got Traore running after it. He's got one-on-one with the man. He flicks it into the middle. Was it Phil Jones gets up? Yeah. He heads the ball out, but it falls, dips to Moutinho. Moutinho cleverly controls it with the base of his foot and then strikes it. And then it heads towards the goal. It hits the back of the net. You're jumping off the thing. What are the Man United fans like? What happened with...
Well, when I jumped up and I started celebrating and shouting, yes, yes, yes. So I've got the 2 fans from Manchester City and Blackburn Rovers clapping as well. And then I look over, and the first person I look over to is the big guy. And he just put his head down like that and put it down. But then one guy over the other side of the pub turned around and said, you deserve it, and stuff like this. So the reaction was good, but there was a few there giving you evils. Because you're in their pub, you shouldn't be doing that. Especially when you see all the merchandise of Man United on the wall as well. They got like a shirt from Chicharito was his name. They had his shirt on the top.
Didn't ABBA sing about him? Chiquita. Oh, that was
Chiquitita. They had a Rooney t-shirt on the wall as well. They were proper Man United fans. Even the landlord of the pub.
Got it right. You should have let a gold flare off.
Do you know what? I joked to my auntie who she didn't come to the pub with us, but I joked to her beforehand when she warned me to keep my emotions in check. I said I'll probably take my top off and throw it up in the air if we score, because I was that confident we weren't going to score. So when we did score, and after it all settled down and everything, my cousin turned to me and went, "Ain't you going to take your top off?" I was like, "No. We'll leave that."
Well, we've got the scene there. They deserved it. Just before we go on, I did the reaction with Manny, and I had both sides of the reactions whilst we were doing it from the United fans. I had one load of United fans saw we were recording that came over and were really magnanimous, saying you deserved it. And then we had the other ones doing the fingers to us behind, who were obviously very bitter. And I always admire the other lot, because as a fan, I always say, if we ain't played well or the other teams won it, I'll say, well played, that you deserved it. But we had the class and the other side of it. If you watch the video back, you'll see exactly what I mean. Manny had to turn me round. But let's go forward in time, Scott. Wolves are 1-0 up. We're in added time. Mike Dean, as he likes to do, drama at the end of a Wolves match, blows his whistle. He gives a free kick to Manchester United. 70,000 fans in the stadium. All the United fans thinking this is their moment to get back into it. They said it on the commentary. This is the game right here. I was saying it in the stand. This is the game right here. The Wolves fans were going, oh, it's the last minute. It always happens to us. You've got Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo standing over the ball. What was going on? What were the United fans doing? And what was the reaction to the save?
Well, it was dead silent, first of all, when they got the free.
Push.
Yeah, dead silent when they got the free kick. Because obviously they know it's going to be the last kick of the game. And in my mind, you got that old like Wolves thing in your head where we're at Old Trafford, Ronaldo's standing over the ball, and it's the last kick of the game. What do you think's really going to happen? But then you look and think, hold on, we have one of the best defenses in the league, and Sar's probably been the signing of the Premier League this season. I don't know so much. So I said to my cousin, I said, if Ronaldo takes this, there's a chance it might go in. But if Fernandes takes this, I'll bet money on Sar all day. And when Fernandes took it, there you go, Sar pulls off the save. And I tell you, he's probably been the best signing we've had in a long time. So
He's been magnificent. And then that's
I tell you, he's going after Rui for that number one Portuguese spot. The way he's playing,
he's mate. I mean, he's just been magnificent in every game. I think he really believes that he's like a force field in goal.
We've been lucky. We've been lucky. The defense and Sarr this season have just been incredible. And that's why with Sace going, I'm worried now a little bit because it disrupts it a little bit. But it depends who he puts in his place. Who do you think will take his place?
Whose place?
Sace's.
Oh, well, that's why you're on as a pundit, mate. Let's have your opinion. I'm the host of the show.
For me, because Bolly's not going, is he? Because he's still not fully fit. And then you got Yersin's not fully back yet. So for me, you could either put Marcel there and then put like Aït-Nouri or Hoover out on the left. But if I'm being honest, I'll put Dendoncker there.
Dendoncker has played in the back, but he normally plays on the right-hand side, doesn't he?
That's the only problem. Do you move Kilman over to the other side? That's the only issue with that.
I've got to stop you for a bit of a chuckle, mate. There's some breaking news that Hungry Like the Wolf have got. Breaking news, Man United have sacked Mike Dean after last night's terrible performance. That's Love quality, that is. Love it.
So it's hard to see alongside.
Marcel can play in central defence, and he's more left-sided, so potentially Marcel.
He probably more likely will be Marcel. Like, he was incredible yesterday, Marcel. Him and Semedo getting up and down. Like, they battling for every ball. Like, but you could tell McTominay, like, even he was losing it a little bit because he was lashing out and eventually got the booking he deserved. And it's just one of them. We frustrated them. I don't think they expected us to be on top like all game near enough. Like, the only time I was worried about Man United scoring was that free kick near the end. Because even when Fernandes hit the bar, I just knew it seemed like we were going to get something out the game. Do you know what I mean? We were definitely going to get something.
For me, that was the moment. It was a bit like the... strangely enough, like the playoff final moment when we saved the penalty when he hit the bar, and then the thing I was thinking, like, it was just, can we get the winner? And it was a great strike from Moutinho. I mean, the whole team did really well. Even I thought Bruno Fernandes, I think they've talked about. I thought it was talked about well. Paul from Bahamas mentioned it. His tactical. The way he's brilliant with his tactics. I thought he made the substitutions at the right time. There were the right substitutions. They made a difference when they came on. He didn't leave it late like he has done in so many occasions.
It was definitely a big call to take Raul off and put Silva on.
I must admit, I think it was the right call. Raul didn't want to come off, I don't think. But he made the substitution. Raul came off, and Fabio Silva, who does come in for a lot of criticism, was instrumental in that goal.
But like Manny said, he's young. He's only going to get better. And like you said, he was instrumental in that goal because he held the ball up to lay it off to Neves, who played that ball out to Traore to put the cross in. So he's getting there, and it will take time. And I think Bruno's got a lot of confidence in him, but he'll only play him when he thinks it's the right time to play him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, mate, let's just that's been brilliant sharing that with you in a pub in Rochdale. I can been able to run through that with you. And guys, please, if you're enjoying the show, please smash a like on the video. Let YouTube know, and feel free to obviously leave a comment as well. Mate, we need to come on to your performance rating first. What are you going to go for?
10.
It's a 10. It's a 10. Tell us why.
First time at Old Trafford in God knows how many years, and
42.
for Matinho to score it again. Last time I was the last time and the only time I've been to Old Trafford to watch Wolves play, Matinho scored. We drew 1 each. So for him to score again was awesome as well, because like Neves gets a lot of praise because Neves has been on top form, and Matinho is just as good, but he goes back. He's doing it more like. I could say you see more of Neves than you will do with Matinho, but Matinho's doing just as much as Neves. And to get the winning goal and to do it at Old Trafford and to break that record of not scoring there for as long as we had, it was just beautiful.
It's not scoring. It's scoring a winning goal. Mel Eves was, I think it was February 1980, was the last Wolves player to score a
you know what's funny as well?
I did message Mel as well after the game, and he was on the WM commentary going ballistic, apparently.
Well, it's like you saw things like when I was on social media, you see it come up a lot. We had one at Old Trafford for so many years, and then you look at the fact that you had the podcast thing with Mel Eves.
Yeah,
and then you see it on there as well that Mel Eves was the last goal scorer.
We plan these things, mate, out. We plan it out, getting Mel on the podcast, talking about it before it's all part of the script, it's all planned.
And you know what makes it even more a 10 as well? Like at the end, if you ever go on TikTok, Wolves put the video of the Wolves fans doing the Sue thing, the Ronaldo thing in the stands at the end of the game. Yeah, so you know that celebration he does when he shouts Sue. I think it's Sue or something like that.
Who is that? His wife?
To be honest, I don't even know what it means in Portuguese. But yeah, that celebration, like the Wolves cameras caught the fans at the end of the game all doing it, and it's on TikTok, and it's hilarious to watch because
well, that's it. I am on TikTok, Dazzling Dave without the G.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I follow you.
Oh, do you? I put the odd video. I did do some crazy things in furlough when I was bored, but
all good fun,
mate. Okay, so we've had one vote for Podence. We've had a vote for Matinho. I think we've had 2 for Neves now. We've got you and Jack to go. So before we get to obviously the pundits vote, which is for half of the vote, and the nominations, what are you going for?
Matinho.
So you're going for Matinho as well.
Yeah.
So that's 2 votes for Matinho, 2 votes for Neves. So that's a 2-horse race. So it'd be interesting to see whether Jack makes it a 3-horse race when he comes on. Tell us why Matinho.
Again, like I said, Neves does everything right. Neves is Wolves through and through. He works his bones off in that midfield. And like I say, Joe does the same. It just goes, under the radar a little bit. And that Man United game, for me, was perfect for him to get that Man of the Match award. So, yeah, definitely him.
Hey, we've got Gareth, who's... I've got to say, we've got Gareth on it from Spider VPN, who supports the show. And Gareth, I've got to say, he's put out congratulations, fantastic his win against United. Wreck-It Ralph doing a fab job. But I've got to say, and I think, can you all put in the comments, Gareth had a heart attack whilst over in Dubai recently. I'm not sure if he's been back. He is on the road to recovery because he's been there for a while because he wasn't allowed to fly. So Gareth, as you're watching, mate, I just want to from all of us here, thanks for powering the show. But also, more importantly than anything, your health. I hope you're well. And I'm not sure if you're back or not, but I'm sure all you guys in the chat will all want to wish Gareth all the best for having that scary heart attack. He is recovering, and
great place to recover as well, Dubai.
Well, that's the one thing. If there's one place you want to get stuck, maybe that is It's like lots of people coming on here saying now, get well to Gareth, because
get well, Gareth.
It's been tough for him. So I hope you're well, mate. Maybe let us know if you're back or not, as well. So yeah, absolutely right, mate. Brilliant. And just a reminder again, whilst you're on, they do support and help power the show. And the details on how you can get on there in the description below on there. Mate, just final words from you before we get on to Jack.
A day to remember. I wish I was part of it, but it still was fun to be in a United boss. Sorry, that was my son. Yeah, just a day to remember, and it's about time that we won at Old Trafford, and long may it continue and happen again.
Absolutely, absolutely, mate. I hope so. Well, let's hope it's not going to. It's not going to be 42 years before we beat them again. I think it's definitely worth saying that they do worry about us. We beat them in the FA Cup memorably a few years ago, and then followed up in the league at Molineux. But to win at Old Trafford and outplay them the way we did, definitely.
They weren't in the game. They weren't in the game at all. We deserve that 3 points. Definitely, 100%.
100%, mate. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you'll be available on that. Are you going to Sheffield United?
No, it's a Sunday, isn't it? So I've got two Bushbury matches, and I've lost players because of work in the match.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So one of our starting players for the mornings and the afternoons, they're both working the game. So I've lost them, unfortunately.
That's it. And Gareth has said, thanks for the kind words, everyone. Back home now, feeling good and the future looking positive. Lots of love to you, Wolves fans. And as you know, Gareth is a Newcastle fan. And I will be meeting up with Gareth and the team over there when Wolves play away at Newcastle. So it's going to be interesting to see what Newcastle do in the transfer window. Obviously fighting for survival this year. And I'm sure that's going to be a great weekend when it comes. So I'm looking forward to that. Scott, thanks ever so much. I'm sure you'll probably stay on in the background till the end of the show as you normally do. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I already have it on the TV, so I'll continue watching it on the TV.
All right, mate. All the best. Happy New Year to you, mate.
You too, mate. Good to see you again. Take it easy. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And finally, mate, thanks for being so patient. But Jack, you always talk a lot of sense, and people love to hear your views, mate. And I did bump into you just before the game.
Yeah, we did just in the concourse, just before.
Were you high up or low down, or whereabouts were you?
I think I was just seeing your vlog. I think I was sort of the similar area to you, but a few rows behind, because where you come out on the steps, we were kind of right next to those steps. I think you went down the steps a little bit, didn't you? So I think So just about there. So a nice view.
And I mean, just talk me through your day. What were you expecting before the match? Were you confident, apprehensive, or what?
I was confident. I'm always confident. It's kind of how I do things, but I just had a feeling that we were going to do something special. We played so well in the previous games, especially against City and Liverpool and Chelsea, and we hadn't had the look, or we hadn't had the clinical finish we needed, or whatever it was that was just lacking those days. Some of it was just a little bit of luck, wasn't it? But I just felt Man United aren't at that level. And I think their fans are starting to realise that now. They're not in the same league as Chelsea, City, Liverpool. And I think actually they're able, you can get at them. You can really get at them. And I was really pleased that we played the three up front and we had a go at them, and we were aggressive. We had intent from the start. And I think that was where we won the game in our approach to it. And the way the game played out was a reward for Bruno's, I suppose, bravery in picking a team that was going to go there and attack and be on the front foot. But I'd also say, actually, that's probably the most complete performance we've put in all season, because we had the attacking threat, we had the chances, we were good on the ball, but we were so solid at the back. They had one chance first half where they caught us on the break from a corner.
Was that the one where Cavani blasted it over?
No, there was another one. I think Sancho messed up the final ball and Cody got a block. Yeah. But we had a corner.
That chance for Cavani, or wherever I've said that, if he'd have just passed the ball to the right, there was an overload, and he didn't, did he? I thought, they're going to be in, and he shot, and it went quite a way wide.
Yeah, because if you think about some of those first sort of 3 games at the start of the season, they've almost become folklore, haven't they, with Wolves? Oh, those first 3 games, we played ever so well. The Tottenham game in particular, if you think back to it, we played all this great attacking football, couldn't score. Tottenham had a lot of chances in that game, especially in the second half. Man United didn't have many chances at all yesterday. I think they had 2 on target all game, and one of those was the very last kick, effectively. So I think to go to Old Trafford to play front foot, aggressive, possession, attacking football, but to be so solid and organised and compact at the back, that's a tactical victory for Bruno as much as anything. And I think he deserves huge credit, like Paul from Barbados said earlier.
We've got a Liverpool fan, I think LFC, saying your win really brightened up my weekend. I can imagine it would, to be fair.
Would do, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Barry says 100%, Jack, we bossed it last night.
Yeah, we did.
Robert says on our day we can beat any team in the league. Kieran's very, very agree, Jack. I'm so proud of the boys. And Carl says he's helping out on the stats, which he is, in the absence of Speedy, who's obviously his mum had suffering from breast cancer. She's been on there. She's a lot better, but that's why you've not seen much of Speedy. And in regards to the people that have asked about Amy, Amy's just social life's just taken her off in a different direction. She wasn't at the game yesterday, so she's not able to come on as much, which is why you got me. She comes on when she can. We've got Carrie who'll be on as well at times as well. We have got the producer behind the scenes. And, mate, I mean, were you liked the 5 or 10 minutes after the game was quite magical as well when the final whistle went?
It was. I mean, we've talked about it, haven't we? You go to the Crystal Palaces and you go to the Norwiches and you put the miles in and you think, oh, this is a slog. And then you get a night like last night and you think it's all worth it. It's all absolutely worth it. You know, if you could have picked at the start of the season 2 grounds to go to and win this season as an away team, Villa Park and Old Trafford, it's done. That's it, isn't it? You go and win at the nearest club you've got. Then you go and win at Old Trafford, where we ain't won since, God was a young lad and all this kind of thing. It's brilliant. All those efforts you put in to go to all these away games and all the years people have been following, that's why you do it. And those scenes at full time justify everything. And I don't know if you noticed, full time whistle went Bruno was straight over to the away end.
He did. He walked straight over. He did that, which obviously meant about his heart. I thought, what did you make of his comments about his relationship with the Wolves hierarchy and wanting to make the team that we're really, really, proud of?
I mean, I think whenever a manager comments in the media, you've got to kind of judge it through that lens, haven't you? He's saying something that's going to be put in the public domain, so he's not going to sort of say the very, very bones.
I think he reported he didn't have to say it. He said it himself. He'd come out.
Yeah.
It wasn't a direct question. It was just something he came out and said.
Yeah, which is obviously positive. And I think, as fans, we only see probably 5% of what goes on at the club, if we're being brutally honest. There's so much now. I mean, because people are talking, particularly because it's January, about transfers, recruitment, etc., etc. 95, 96% of what happens in terms of recruitment, we don't see as fans. So, for people to be saying, oh, Fosun aren't interested, they're not investing, that's speculation. That's nothing more, nothing less than speculation. As supporters, we don't know that.
No.
We can look at the evidence and we can look at what people say and make our own judgments, and that's what we do. But I think we've got to just put our faith in the people to get it right. There are 2 massive decisions that the club made in the summer to replace the manager and to replace the goalkeeper. And at this point in time, they both look like absolute masterstrokes.
They've been upgrades, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone could honestly sit here and say, as much as we love Nuno, and again, I always say, I'm not Bruno versus Nuno, I'm not interested. Nuno's gone, we're in Bruno now. Let's stop comparing and all this. But Bruno looks and sounds and feels like more of a top-level manager than Nuno. Nuno was always going to get us to a certain level, but probably not the level where a lot of people want us to be, which is regular European football, challenging for cups, all this. I've got a feeling Bruno might just be that man.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly, I think I think he's more tactically astute than Nuno, in terms of how we. I mean, Nuno was good, but sometimes he was very rigid, or more negative in the way he reacted to games. We saw that in the semi-final. Whereas Bruno, okay, sometimes he can be a bit gung-ho when we've seen him throw on loads. But I thought the only frustration I have sometimes with Bruno Lage is he had tended to leave his substitutions till it was very difficult for him to have an impact. But I thought yesterday every time he made a substitution, it was exactly the right timing. It was the right substitution, and it made a difference, which is what you want from your substitutions.
Yeah, he got it spot on, didn't he? And if we're looking at the season as a whole, there's probably more games where Bruno's got things right than where he's got things wrong, and he has got things wrong. Brentford at home was just an absolute disaster class, wasn't it, from start to finish? But there's been so many more games where Bruno's made little tweaks or little things, and it's gained us points. Villa was another one, wasn't it? We got back to 2-2. You're thinking, what a great point! This is 2-0 down.
We were. We'd have been happy with that.
He brings a striker on, and we win the game.
Yeah. And we would have, to be honest, from 2-0 down where we were celebrating mad that we got a point.
Yeah.
And then we got 3. It was like surreal. And it's still that. Those 15 minutes were that will always stay with us. And I think last night was probably one of them games as well. I mean, there's probably a lot of Wolves fans that have gone, to most of the games, not us because we're too young, like over the last 42 years. I think it's something like 10 games, is it, in the league? It was the 10th match. I mean, I know it's 42 years, but it's probably about 10 games. There's probably a lot of people that have been to most of those games. And so extra special. And the Wolves fans, I mean, if you don't have to watch the whole of the match vlog, right? I put my match vlog up there, and I also put up the Moutinho goal on its own. It's about 1.5 minutes, and I got the goal, and I've managed to capture it really well. But there were people behind me, 2 or 3 rows behind me, and they were falling past us in front.
Yeah,
this is why you have the safe standing, and you can understand it, because there was. People could have got hurt, because I mean, literally, they were falling over, and 2 or 3 chairs in front. I mean, if you watch the video, you see at one point the camera goes on the floor, and I try and get back up to the crowd and what have you. But the fans were going absolutely ballistic, and then they were doing their afterwards as well. Yeah. I mean, it was just brilliant. And after 15 minutes as well, we were doing the olays.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm always one of these people. Even if we play magnificently, I'm looking, what could we have done better? Was there anything that we need to improve on? I'm really struggling today to think of anything, apart from scoring more goals, which I know a lot of people have touched on already. But I'm struggling to think, in terms of a blueprint for how to go away from home in the Premier League and play, that was kind of it last night. Organised, well defending at the back, solid. Using the whole width of the pitch, bringing the ball inside when you need to, aggression and pace up front, creating chances. That's how you do it. If we'd have won 2-0, 3-0 yesterday, I don't think they could have complained at all. And I'm sure there's Man United fans who'd probably agree with that. And I know they've been quite scathing, haven't they, about their team? And there are issues at Man United. We know that, don't we? But for all the talk of how poor Man United were, that was because of how good we were. And that's getting lost in a lot of the post-match analysis and discussion, because they're obsessed with what went wrong for Manchester United. I'll tell you what went wrong for Manchester United. They played a good team last night who had a really good game. That's what went wrong for Manchester United. Above all the issues of selection and formation and managers, sometimes, and we've said this time and time again on this show, haven't we? Sometimes you play a good team who have a good day and they beat you.
Yeah.
And that was what it was.
We outclassed them. I don't think there are many United fans that can actually turn around and say we did not deserve to win that game. We did. No. We deserved to win the first match, but we definitely deserved to win last night. So it felt really good. Mate, let's just, before we get on to your performance, Ray, let's do your man of the match, because then all the folks in the chat can have their vote, and the producer hopes she's obviously she's monitoring this and all the comments and stuff. She can tot it up and then message me the winner. But who are you going to? What's your nomination for man of the match, and why?
The man of the match for me and the best player on the pitch was Ruben Neves. So I'm gonna have to go with Ruben Neves. I thought he absolutely bossed the game. He was a masterclass in how to control a midfield in the Premier League. The tempo, he was moving he was altering the tempo of the game. If you saw, there were times when he'd put his foot on it, have a look round, and then play the pass. Other times it was into him, one touch, visit out to someone else. A lot of his passes, a lot of his passes, they were progressive passes, they were forward passes rather than keeping it safe. He was outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
So the pundit winner is Neves. I voted for Podence, and Manny voted for Podence, obviously, tonight. So 2 votes for Podence. We've got 2 votes for Matinho, and we've got 3 votes for Neves as the man of the match. So, guys, this is in the chat. This is your turn, and the producer's going to be busy. You vote when I tell you. I want you to put your man of the match and performance rating in the chat, and then we'll see who the people's man of the match is. So whilst that happens, down in the chat, Jack, talk us through your performance rating for the game.
I'm not going to give it a 10 because I think you can always improve. I think that's part of the reason why we love football, is that no matter how good you play, next time you've got to be looking to get better.
You're hard, man.
Well, yeah, but that's how you get better in life, isn't it? You don't settle for, that was great today, so I'll just go and do that again. You go, that was great, but tomorrow's going to be even better. So I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think we could have got more goals, and
9.5 is still pretty good though. Man.
Yeah. And like I said, that's the blueprint going forward now. If we play like that, and we won't play like that every week because we've got a relatively young team, young manager. We'll have dips in form. We all know that. But if we can produce performances like that on a fairly consistent basis, we will finish a lot closer to the top than we will to the bottom. And that's got to be the aim this season. To not necessarily to be Europe or top 4, top 6, just to be in and amongst it. Because I think the top 3 are over the hills and far away now, aren't they? You're not going to get anywhere near them. But 4th down to about 9th, I think is wide open. I think you've got Arsenal, Tottenham, United, West Ham. They're doing well. They're having good seasons. But then you've got the likes of ourselves, Brighton, Leicester. We're right in amongst that group if we can keep and string those consistent results together.
You'd probably throw Villa in that, wouldn't you, as well?
I don't know about that. No, they're a good team, but I'd say right as of right now, I think we're a better team than Villa.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
So
maybe they've just had that new manager bounce.
Possibly,
they were right up until the last round of fixtures. I think they were right back in it. But again, we've opened up that mind the gap again from them. So so that's interesting. We're getting all the votes in as well. I'll give it a couple more minutes for your man of the match votes to come in, and then I'll get sent a WhatsApp message with the results. Whilst we're doing that, Jack, what do you want to see happen in the transfer window? The key subjects, Traore. Most of the people in the chat, the people's vote is to keep him. I know we spoke about this before. Who would you play in that defensive left-hand side in replacement for Saiz? And do you think Wolves have to go as strong as possible and go as far away and try and really go for the FA Cup?
I think we've got to play a fairly strong team because Sheffield United will be up for it. It's a chance for a cup upset, isn't it? And I think they'll bring a fair few fans and it'll make a decent atmosphere. So we've got to be on it. It's not a case of throw the kids in and sink or swim time. You've got to take it seriously. I think Bruno's taken the cup seriously so far, hasn't he? He played a very strong team at Forest, and then he played a pretty strong team against Tottenham when we drew and then lost.
We were unlucky, weren't we?
We should have probably won that game on balance.
Now, Tottenham.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So it's wide open, isn't it? If you get a decent draw, you can always get as far as you can, can't you? We did it when we went in the semi-final the other year, didn't we? We had a couple of tough games, a couple of nicer games, but if you can kind of get that blend right, who knows? That's the beauty of cup football, isn't it? You could pin all your hopes on it for 1 year. It's our year. and then you draw Man City and you think, oh, that's it then. Or you could have quite a nice little run of fixtures, and without playing anyone too much, you're in the quarter-final, and you think, oh, hang on a minute, we're a game from Wembley, or 2 games from the final. So we have to go serious. He'll play Ruddy, I think, won't he? I think Fabio will probably come in for Raul. But beyond that, I think there's no reason to rotate too much. We've had a nice break over Christmas. It was not great for the fans, was it, to lose the Boxing Day and the Arsenal game? But it was good for the players just to have that little reset, and now that can go again. I mean, in terms of replacing Sanderson, I think what we've got to remember, is Marcel's played left-sided centre-half in a back three in a Champions League semi-final. So he's more than capable of stepping in for the 3-4 games that we're going to lose remain. The reason why I slipped and said Sanderson is I think we can't rule him out either. There's a reason they've brought him back, and I think Bruno likes him. He's seen him at Birmingham, obviously on loan. He's seen him when he came back to train with the team during one of the international breaks. And I think one of the reasons why Bruno came in the summer, he's got a real reputation, hasn't he, for developing young talent. And I think he'll see someone like Sanderson, like he's done with Kilman and Ait-Nouri, and he'll say, right, I can work with you and I can make you a much better player. So I think it'll be Marcel that comes in, but don't rule out Sanderson.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we have got a winner, mate.
Go on.
We've got a winner. The producer, she's messaged, and the words are, it's a comfortable winner, and the winner is Neves. The people's vote is for Ruben Neves as your Manchester United, Wolves Manchester United man of the match. So that goes with the pundits' vote as well. So that's a unanimous overall winner for Neves. Congratulations. You've won the extra. I'm not that if you're watching, Ruben.
I'm sure he is. Yeah.
Congratulations, mate. Brilliant, mate. And your final thoughts on Traoré before we finish off?
You haven't got time for all the thoughts, have you? But I mean, I was reading today that we're considering offers of 20 million. Now we paid 18 for him. Yeah. Are you telling me in the 2-3 years he's been here that he's only £2 million better off? I'm not buying that for a second. I think if the offer's right, I think he will go. But 20 million isn't the offer, is it? Let's be fair. That number's probably got to start with a 3, hasn't it? So
well, I think so. I think it's more. I think if he got his contract signed, you'd be talking upwards of figures with a 4 and a 5 on it. But because of the contract situation and the value, that's the issue. Do they hold out? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of these. It's got to be sorted out one way or the other sooner or later, hasn't it? So we'll wait.
And I think potentially this is the window to get it sorted once and for all, isn't it? Because you don't want it dragging on into the summer. And then obviously, like you said, once it gets to next January, you can start negotiating with other teams, can't you, if that contract isn't signed? So now is probably the time to get it done once and for all. Sit down with his agent and with the player and say, do you want to be here? Do you want to sign this contract? Because if not, we'll find you a new club. We'll get you that move.
Well, exactly.
And I think that's probably best for all parties, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, and it's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts on just quickly before we finish? Ryan Giles coming back.
I like Ryan Giles. I mean, I said to my friends the other day, because we were talking about it on the way up to the game, if we were linked today with a transfer for a 21-year-old winger who's got the most assists in the Championship this season, we'd be saying that's going to be a good signing. Get him done. But he's already our player, isn't he? Yeah. So it makes perfect sense. This is what I was saying.
That's exactly what I said when I was talking to some of the fans before the game. They were talking about, we've rolled up, and I said, just take a step back. If we didn't know he was our player and we got someone with the most assists at 21 that was coming, we were bringing in from the Championship. He's got the most assists in a team that's down the bottom of the Championship at the moment, Cardiff. We'd be like, that looks like a promising signing, and that's exactly what Rolls Giles has done. Is it 9 assists?
I think it's 9, isn't it? Yeah, in 18, 19 games or something. For like you say, for a team that aren't scoring or creating a massive amount either, which makes it even better, doesn't it?
And the other thing we're bringing him back as well, mate. I mean, obviously we don't know what's happening with Traoré. We know that both Neto and Wang aren't realistically going to be back till February. That leaves us with wide men of Trincao, currently Traoré, and Podence. we don't have anyone else really, do we? We've
Not-
got Fabio
no, not
playing in the
really.
middle. So with the fact that Traore might go, we'll see, and that both Neto and also Wang are out until February, you can understand why they've brought him back. Really, they can't. I wouldn't be surprised to see him starting in the FA Cup as well. He'd be another one you might see given a run in that.
Yeah, and it would make sense, wouldn't it? Like I said, I just want us to be careful we don't make too many changes in the cup. Because once you start making 8, 9 changes, that just disrupts everything too much, doesn't it? And it kind of sets over the message to the fans that, well, we're not really taking this too seriously. I think that run we had the other year where we got to the semi-final, we actually played a strong team pretty much all the way through, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, and that's what you've got to do. And I think that's where it starts. If you as a supporter, if you see your team taking the cup seriously, you take it seriously. You turn up, you treat it like a league game, you make the atmosphere, you get behind the team, and that's where it comes, isn't it? And that's where everything sort of builds from.
We don't want to trip up next Sunday after beating United away. We've got to follow it up and try and put Sheffield United to bed in the first half next week.
You've just got to try and win the game, haven't you? Because ultimately, if you do go all the way and you win the trophy, no one remembers how well you played in the third round. It's just you remember that you got through. So cup football is just about getting through, whether it's a scrappy 1-0, whether it's penalties, whatever it is, you've just got to win the game and get through, haven't you? But I mean, I think that's, again, the atmosphere is going to be really important. If the fans get behind it and turn it into a Molineux atmosphere like we know, then I think that'll go down to the players and it'll take care of itself.
I think that's a good message to get out there. So listen, if you're going to the Sheffield United game in the Cup, make sure that you got your singing voices on and we get behind the team. And let's make it an FA Cup special atmosphere, and let's let the players and the management know and everything that we want a cup run. We want an FA Cup. We want it. We want on the front of the Express and Star. It's ours again. That's what we want.
Well, how many times have you been like in the last few years to like the first round of the League Cup and we're at home to Northampton, 9,000 turn up, and you're thinking, well, if 2/3 of the fans can't be bothered to turn up, no wonder the players didn't turn up either. So, if we all turn up and get behind the boys and have a real go, then that's what you need to do, isn't it?
And I'll tell you what, mate, we have got Emma's just come on and she's made a very good point. Where's Jimmy Foxtrot been tonight? Well, for those of you that are regulars on the channel, I'll read the comments. Jimmy Fox, he's called Foxel, but we call him our pet troll. Jimmy Foxtrot, we found out, was a Man United fan and has been trying to give it large, this, that, and the other. And he's Jimmy, where are you? Where are you, Mr. Foxtrot? We haven't seen sight. But there's a big missing poster that's gone out. We're worried about you. Are you okay?
Like half his team, he's gone missing, hasn't he?
Absolutely gone missing. And Merv says, good question. Listen, it's been absolutely brilliant tonight. It's been brilliant. Right, absolutely good. Dave, you are my go-to for anything Wolves, born and bred Wolf in calendar. Thanks for everything you do. You're more than welcome. And thanks for listening for all the guests that have come on tonight. Two Pauls, Manny, Scott, Max, and of course, Jack. As always, Jack, thank you so much for patiently waiting till the end of the show, mate. I know I really appreciate coming on. You always talk a lot of sense. And I know the guys really look forward to hearing from you. And thanks for all you guys that have been in the chat. A lot of you for thinking, if please smash a like on the video, leave a comment, and hopefully we'll, fingers crossed, I can get the audio out. The producer will try and get the podcast up sometime tomorrow so you can listen to it. It's been a long one, 1 hour, 50 minutes. Don't know where the time goes. It just flies by.
It's great when we win, though, isn't it? There's lots to talk about.
Oh, man. CN says, can call some collies in Manchester. Maybe he's linked to his recovery somewhere. Thanks as usual. Listen, guys, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for joining. And keep the face. Stay patient with Fosun. Get behind the team. And keep believing. Check out the match vlog, the Matinho goal, and the post-match reaction. The international fans should be out sometime on Tuesday. Until then, from me and Jack and everyone that's been on the show, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.